There you go.
Do we have any corrections or additions from the last time we actually showed up? And
That was just a
that was,
quiz Austin mostly.
yes, it was. Who managed to avoid this one by planning on being out of town, wasn't it?
Yeah,
If I hear no complaints on minutes from last time or the time before, then we're all in good shape. Yay. Okay, Doug, you filled in for me back on
Yes, sir.
a week ago because Mr. Chairman. I was busy trying to untangle a set of twins. Unfortunately, I lost both little heifers and,
ooh, you shade there.
yeah. But now I have the opportunity to get bruised as I try to convince her to adopt another one. We're gaining.
First calf ever,
No, it's like her fourth or fifth calving. Beef cow, but
or?
Okay.
not one that has been worked with much. She did have a set of twins. I think her first calving a few years back, raised both of them just fine. But, and her mother I could graft extra calves onto her mother. So I was, well, hey, guess what? We're gonna try this. Anyway. Enough rambling. Go, Doug.
All right. So last week I attended the initial meeting of the Dryden Planning Board Special Zoning Committee. They have a series of meetings on I guess it's the first Thursday of the month for the next 3 or 4 or 5 months. And this was a meeting that was had a pretty short agenda. That's on page 2. I listed most of the people who attended, but I didn't quite get everybody's name. But the purpose was to review the status of the scope of phase 1. And that's a process that's supposed to take the rest of this year. And that's on pages 2, 3, and 4, or 4 and 5, 3, 4, and 5, labeled 1, 2, and 3. And it's a proposal, a memo, it's really a proposal from Nan Solzenberg, who some of you met with, right? Or did you not meet with her?
Did not actually meet.
Did you talk with her?
We emailed some.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was just strange.
I didn't remember much about that. And I wasn't
No.
glad.
I was kind of going back and forth with her, but it was just, I was
Nothing.
convinced that the town had gone in a different direction or something, the way that I just wasn't getting any answers from her, but.
Well, it's still a bit confusing. So this memo from Nan, it's a proposed scope of work and budget. So it's like a request for proposal. But some of the planning board members didn't think it was detailed enough and thought it was a bit vague. And I'll try to explain that as quickly as I can. So there was a lot of discussion and confusion about the process and who would decide whether Nan's proposal was sufficient to go forward for funding and who was going to do some of the work. Some of the committee seemed to think that Nan should specify all the things that needed to be done. And other people said, well, it's our zoning, we should be telling Nan what we want. Or at least work together on it, but
Yes.
that took up a good portion of the first hour discussing those 2 points. And I think Nan expects the planning board to, as on page 2 of her memo, under the planning task for March, the planning board is to detail and finalize the list of zoning topics and general recommendations to be amended. So she's putting it in the court of the planning board. And some of the planning board members thinks that she should have put in a more detailed proposal, but I think I've explained that confusion right there. I think that her specific points on page 1, starting with Article 2, updated purposes, Article 3, the data centers, battery storage, those are specific points that she's picked up
Hello.
Hey, Steve.
during previous meetings with with Tony or other members of that committee. And at the end of the hour, the planning board voted to go forward and make a contract with man to see what's listed here.
Question. So there are New York state laws regarding crypto mining and data centers and battery storage that the town is gonna have to be complying with?
Yes,
Or-
that was the second hour. I was talking about those 2 points. One is the battery storage and the second is the data center. You guys might know something about these already?
Nope.
Okay, so there've been at least 2 proposals to install a large battery storage and a crypto mining center here in Dryden.
Yep.
And
Oh, okay.
one of them is,
I could understand that the fire department would have some
yeah,
ear
Well,
to.
Freeville had ears to it because it was the Caswell dump.
Yeah. Oh.
Ah, okay.
right, so 20-acre or so field.
Mhm.
We're proposing to put several hundred of these batteries, large lithium-ion batteries that are about the size of a shipping container, about the size of this room. And they have to be on an impervious surface somehow. I don't know how they do that, but it has to be impervious surface. And there's a big fire hazard, and when they start on fire, fire department can't put them out, so they just have to let them burn.
Yeah.
So it would be fenced and gated and restricted. And many of the folks there seem to think that this was a technology that's not really ready for prime time yet. But it's a way to store excess solar capacity when the sun's shining, which is something we need to do if we're gonna go with solar, but this may not be a way to do it that's feasible. It relates to agriculture in that they're taking, this one won't take an agricultural field now, the dump's there, but they could take other fields in the town. There was not a lot of support for this.
And I'm thinking you gotta be able to control runoff and,
Runoff and the amount of water it takes to control one lithium battery in a car is astronomical. What they're doing now is taking these,
Blanket things?
no, not even that, they bring a rotator type, unit in, wrecker rotator, pick it up and put it in a pool type thing, a portable pool. Submerge it, because even the fact of just putting the fire out, you have to control the heat or it replicates itself.
So the fire it's a theoretical problem that may or may not occur, but if it does occur, it's really bad. Can't put the fire out, and there's lots of the concerns about toxins being released into the air. And but if it operates correctly without a fire, it's may not be very hazardous.
Yeah.
So we hope someone will come up with better
Well,
battery storage.
nuclear
I
reactor
think
is
I think
fine too,
Elon
is it?
Musk is working on something, a better battery storage, so
Yeah.
we'll do that in his spare time.
He's working on a lot.
He is, he's a busy
Who's
boy.
that?
Elon
Boss.
Musk, he's a busy lad.
Oh, Musk is working on it.
And the second one was the crypto. So apparently someone has proposed to put a crypto mining center here. The only place where they can be sited is in the light industrial zone up near NYSEG. You guys know the outlines of that site? I don't know much about it, but made me aware. It's up there somewhere. And that was a moratorium was put on this issue because it uses huge amounts of electricity, which could drive up electric costs here in Dryden for the whole population. And it might use a lot of water for cooling and
And we already don't have enough grid capacity to run the electric buses that we're supposed to be getting at the school.
Right.
But we'll solve that. We'll get a diesel generator to charge the buses.
What is crypto mining? Is that a chemical? Is the cryptocurrency?
yeah, it's to make crypto coins, I guess. I've read about it for a couple of years now and I still haven't got the foggiest idea what.
Yeah.
It is. It sounds like a Ponzi scheme.
I was
to me.
hoping somebody would answer Brian.
The one that seems to be the biggest in it around here is Adam Whiteson. Down in Weagle,
Yeah,
he's the one that, he's got a couple of them running around.
And there's the one across Seneca, the other side of Seneca Lake, there's a crypto mining facility, I think.
Groton, because of their cheap electricity in the village here.
mhm.
But the fish barns, they were proposing it a few years ago, but I don't know where, went with that.
There was not a lot of support among the planning board or among the representatives from the other committees, particularly the environmental committees, so. And there was gonna be a restriction of the number of kilowatts they could use, or some restriction, so that they could only have one small one in the industrial zone, if they could put it in at all. So I guess those two issues are concerned with zoning, and it's something that might come up again as they go through this process of becoming here. So you might have, I know you had a horrible night, but this wasn't that much better. And that was it. I plan to meet again April 3rd, I believe. And
They talked about two things that they're really not in favor of, and then said, okay, let's stick to that.
they did ask the other committee members if there was anything to add as a result of discussions with Nan Stolzenberg. So that's why I brought that up here, and we don't remember much. That's what I told them. I didn't remember much, and
Oh,
I guess I got it right.
yeah, you did it. You never met with her. And she sent an email. I don't know.
Now, she was there in person?
No, she was not.
Okay.
Or on Zoom, not on Zoom either.
Oh,
Just
okay.
talked about it.
We just talked about it.
Mhm.
Okay, because I was looking at her fees here and, you know, her mileage fee and you know, what her hourly fee is and that she has budgeted in, that she's gonna put in 1 hour in March, and I thought, well, maybe that was the one meeting by Zoom that she. But if she,
That's probably to finalize the scope of work with Tony or with the board.
Mhm.
You know, and it's a pretty modest budget, 11,500 for a consultant to do a zoning rewrite, I would expect. And it sounds like this is gonna go on for a couple of years. If this is just phase one.
yeah,
But it's
It's already marked. It's already
it's been going on for like
over a year.
5, hasn't it? I mean, it was pre-pandemic that it first got started.
Yeah, but even with her, I don't think it was was it last summer that?
Yeah,
That's what
was
we
it
were
last
talking
summer
about
we
last summer, yeah.
emailed?
Yep.
All right.
yep, we get a head nod from the official down there in the end.
Year ago that she started, I don't know.
I also seen here on March's task, there was, alignment with the New York State law for mobile homes.
Mhm.
Is that changed? Are they changing it? Has it changed? Or
Don't know.
are we not playing the same game that the state is, or that wasn't kind of glossed over that
We
way
actually-
when they hit crypto?
I mean, these points were not discussed.
Yeah.
It was just the general process of whether there was a formal RFP or not.
Mhm.
We really didn't discuss anything except those other two issues.
Okay.
Is that something that this committee would have something to say about? Input,
Um.
farm worker.
Farm worker housing in that end of things is the only place where, you know,
That should be exempt, isn't it?
right, the housing issues is my only thought. In relationship to that, as to how it would affect or ag housing should be exempt.
It's almost like if we can make sure whatever they do, they don't contradict what ag markets
Is already
set up.
is already set up, Right.
Have at it, because
right?
I got too full, I take some stuff out, and I don't know what I do with it. The ag markets thing on here. You used to have a big notebook.
I still do.
Something.
This notebook. Oh, you got your corners even.
Way back in 2012, when the supervisor was going back and forth on the ag markets, I don't see the housing thing.
Oh,
I sent one around to everybody as an email. attachment,
Steve came in.
oh, I didn't.
but, I think this one, it's the same thing.
So there was a previous meeting with the fire chiefs on the battery storage? Or
Yes, I think
not that
yes.
fire chiefs were there or anything like that?
No, the fire chiefs were not there. There was a discussion about fire chiefs, and I actually talked with one of them, one from Varna.
Eric? Eric?
No,
Oh,
I know his name, I just can't remember it right now. Anyway,
Now everybody's pretending to be old here.
he was in the discussion. He had a lot of concerns about the,
Freeville is the one that had the major concerns. Mike Parker,
was it okay?
yes.
That's the location of the site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big concern was just if something went wrong, there's no way we could get enough water to keep it from replicating up there.
How would it ever end? We just,
Cooling. It's not really putting the fire out, it's cooling it to break the cycle.
but if you couldn't do that, if you just let it go.
One hell of a mess. Most, I mean, every day in New York City now, every day, there's an e-bike fire that probably about 3 a week turn into structure fires.
Now, I remember when 50 years ago, 50 some years ago, the dump caught on fire up there.
Mhm.
And that was burning for weeks,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
That caught on fire, and then Hammond Hill, the peat caught on fire, that burnt for all summer long.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you could smell the dump burning at my place because they were putting the water on it and then pumping it as it was running down the hill and spraying it back up on it again. And you didn't even have to be downwind from it to smell it. If it was a west wind, it probably made it all the way over to your place quite potently.
The input for the main committee from this committee would be to make sure that anything related to agriculture doesn't contradict ag and markets or other state laws.
That are, yeah, they're already in, that's,
Do we have a copy of? We just had bits and pieces of the ag markets.
I thought we brought it all together like 2 years ago, we finally got it condensed.
yeah,
I might have one home in my book.
You find it in here?
We got a bunch of definitions. You Probably just search ag markets.
But anything that we would have had from a few years ago probably would not have battery
Here's
storage
one from
and
17. Yeah,
crypto mining and all that other,
no, not at all.
I mean. That is prehistoric type stuff compared to
Yeah,
where
but
everything is
for
going.
zoning. Throwing that out, every employee housing and all that other stuff.
Right.
We should.
Right, but I'm just saying that the ag market probably is not addressing any of the new stuff that would be coming in here. I mean, 2 years ago, were we thinking that, bicycles are gonna explode and burn it down the house?
Batteries.
A bicycle?
Yes, we're in uncharted territory, that's for sure.
Yep.
You Find something that dealt with employee housing from
Yeah.
ag emergent, no, okay, yeah.
I can try
Guess
to
you'd
look
have
that
to
up.
sit down and dig through it for a bit, there's a lot there.
Yeah, there's.
Much, whatever they do with zoning. If they, our end of it,
Yeah,
is whatever ag and markets has already got in place is
we just need to
pretty well protects.
theoretically, I mean, when we first got going, we were trying to get some of the language changed,
Yeah.
and we were told, well, let's wait till an issue comes up and then we'll go to the lawyers. Instead of like, oh, let's fix it beforehand. So it doesn't have to go to the lawyers.
Is there anything that we should be concerned about with respect to agricultural districts? In new zone?
I don't think they're gonna,
Yeah.
I mean, as far as right to farm and all that sort of stuff should still be there.
Yeah, districts, county thing, is it correct?
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's,
Okay,
yeah.
and that's,
If they can do
and
it
that's,
under the ag
it's a county thing regulated by state law. But it's basically drawn
Yeah,
up by
it's a
the
state.
county.
Yeah, I mean, the ag districts are state sanctioned.
Right, but,
it's done at the county level, not the
Right.
county.
right, it's drawn up at the county level
Yeah,
and,
that's why Debbie Teeter used to come every once in a
And
while. to
Monica.
review and Monica.
yep, and go over, what parcels do
Do you want
we
to be
think
in or
should be
take out
in, or do we think should not be in?
Yeah,
And then they would go to the landowner and say, do you wanna be in, don't you
Right.
wanna be in? And they did the legwork.
yeah.
there's a map, again, I don't know, I have a notebook that showed parcels in the ag district and
Is that showed
It's
up
right up
there?
there.
is that ag district or?
Thought it was.
No, that's the zoning,
Straight
map, but I
zoning,
don't
yeah.
think
Zoning
it
map.
shows the actual ag district. There are two ag districts in the
County.
county,
Yeah,
One on the east side of the lake and one on
on the west side of the lake, yeah.
Say for the green and the darker green.
that map there, the whole county,
No, that's over the
just
Cortland line, Groton line, Lansing one, it's just the
Oh,
town.
Just the town of
okay,
Dryden.
Well,
okay.
it's town of Caroline and town of Danby, I don't know how that Danby tied into it, but
Yeah,
town, I think a town. Must be, it's just a picture of that stretching down that corner.
That's not just the part of Dryden that goes down into,
You don't know, it's a hard map to decipher, the colors are.
because I know a few hundred years ago, the folks down that way did not want to be associated with the pirates and riffraff of the town of Dryden. Yeah, that's the town of Dryden down there.
Yeah.
The folks down there did not want to be associated with the pirates and riffraff of Caroline. And so they petitioned to become part of the town of Dryden. That's the reason, not just down there.
rules, again, again, it's a zoning thing. rather than-
Yeah.
Mhm,
If that's the Caroline border,
mhm.
Maybe we didn't have an ag district map because it's forever changing, I don't know.
We did have for the whole county, I remember seeing it, but
Maybe footprints in the agricultural.
We did have one around here, because I remember looking at it and the general ag district in the town of Lansing was larger than what was left over of the rest of the county.
mhm.
Here's just a black and white one, or gray and white. And then building outlines agriculture district. Town drawing.
Yeah, no, that doesn't
that's
necessarily,
one of those documents on the website.
yeah.
The gray is ag district, it's this little ellipse right up to the
Right, it didn't need to be,
west side of the town.
yeah, it did not need to be contiguous.
Yeah, it looks like that. And development next to us is just totally included in that. I wonder if they were talking about taking that out. And I don't know what difference it makes.
Depends on how many chickens they want in their backyard.
I really like chickens too. Boxes.
Fishers and,
So you gotta get a charge out, he's seen our daughter, or my post on Facebook, to Reese there, grandson. So he wants chicken, little baby chicks in the worst way. Lacey doesn't want to get them until it truly warms up. So I went up the other day and I took a shoebox and I put some marshmallow ones in it. I got a hole underneath it with the chicks playing. And I says, well, let's have one to eat. No, Papa, and he put away.
It was like, how did they make those marshmallow chickens make noise? Oh, that's fun right there.
All gotta have some fun.
Yeah, poor kid, he doesn't stand a chance. The rest of us are still falling for.
Falling for him.
2-year-old doesn't stand a chance.
That's what makes life fun.
He's going in the egg business.
Gonna have little mini marshmallows. Okay,
Do you have other questions for us? Do you know what they're gonna talk about next time? I mean, it sounds like you're just there to watch the circus last time.
Yeah, and we're just there to observe and report. Report back. Well, presumably they'll finalize the contract this month and they'll get their list of topics and general recommendations. Deliverable from April and May is a detailed zoning amendment scope of work for phase one. Recommendations for direction and policy for each topic. I'm guessing they've got those 12 topics and they may get more by the time this is over.
What's the straw man project?
I think that's might be something that John Kiefer drew up. He mentioned that, but I didn't get a lot of detail
I
about it.
wondered if it was like the house on Petton Road that is straw bales and mud. That somehow they passed as a zoning okay structure. Carl's daughter built it, Carl.
Westerling?
Westland.
I don't think so. That would be more interesting than the straw man. I think it's just a proposal that John Kiefer drew up.
Mhm.
Something about what he expected Nan Stolzenberg to do.
Okay.
I think that's what that was. June, there'll be, well, July, probably July, meetings with various committees, housing, ag, etc. After zoning is drafted to get specific feedback, so we're probably off the hook until July.
When that figures.
You think we should be more involved?
No, why can't they do it in the winter, you know?
She's not picking sweet corn.
So
It's
it's July, okay, gotcha, yeah.
November, December, even March.
Mhm.
Heard from some of the planning board members that one thing we want to do is shrink the conservation districts. They think way too much land is in conservation districts in the town. Because it's too restrictive. On what people can do. And they want to open things up for some of them on the planning board anyway.
Oh, it sounds like a different direction than they used to have. I thought they were, the more that went into them was the goal.
They think too much has been put into conservation now.
Is there, I'm not even familiar with where the conservation districts are, or is it?
Takes in a good big part of the town.
anything that has a puddle part of the year.
Remember the fringe of the fields, they want.
Conservation district is this light green.
It's a lot.
Wow.
That's a conservation district.
It's Hammond Hill, I think, a lot of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's,
I mean, that's nothing official I've heard, but I've heard from some of the members on the planning board that they think that needs to be changed.
now a lot of that conservation district is also in the ag district.
well, but a bunch of, isn't that like state land?
Yeah.
Big blob?
Yeah,
And the light greens up there in the corner are already like the nature conservancy, that they own that, or the rights to a bunch of that. And that one light green strip that goes kind of east of Freeville there is Cornell land. So
well, and a lot of,
what's the yellow? Rural residential? Huh.
so this is Cornell, a lot of this is
The
Cornell,
light green, yeah, so
Yeah.
you know.
kind of blocking your view. And all the yellow over here is West Brighton,
Looks like it.
which,
Directly north of Niceig.
Yeah, which last I knew, most of that was too wet to do anything with.
Got a developer in there working on dropping all the way to Caswell Road on the south end of Caswell.
Right,
Yeah.
but they're large lots.
Mhm.
You can't, they're gonna be like 100 or 50 acre lots, or some of them maybe 20, but. Off of Wood Road, which would be, there's Caswell. It's gotta be Wood.
So what's the light green, like going straight north of Freeville?
All that swamp,
Fall Creek Valley, more or less.
No, that would be coming east.
this would be Fall Creek coming in here, but this is going up to
Wasco
oh,
Creek.
Wasco Lake. Watershed.
Inlet, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, did they specify what they want to take out, Craig? I mean,
I haven't heard that. I just heard that they want to look at it because they feel some places it's too restrictive and they would like to see more.
Because people want to build on the bluffs and have a view, and
They what?
people want to build on the high bluffs and really got a view, and well, let's open it up so we can.
Of the roofs on the houses below them.
you can take out state land and Cornell land and
Yeah, it takes,
it
Takes a
takes
lot
a
of it.
chunk of it.
yeah.
I guess all that yellow up there around West Dryden is zoned as rural residential,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which gives it the opportunity to be a little of both.
yeah,
What are the little purple spots called?
Neighborhood residential district.
Okay.
It would probably be like Yellow Barn development and whatnot that I see due south of Freeville.
Could be.
And the Lake Road development and Crystal Drive, South Knoll, the purple lines coming south out of the village of Dryden.
yeah.
And the orange along 13, orange blobs. That's to me.
Mixed use commercial.
Oh,
district.
okay.
So it would be nice to have that map annotated with some notes saying, like that pale green, does that mean, what are the restrictions? If it's state land, it's completely restricted, right?
Mhm.
But all the light green is not state land,
No,
No.
no.
No,
and so it needs a lot more detail.
there's more
Mhm.
private
I
land.
understand.
I mean, you see the sign saying Hammond Hill, 1,200 acres or whatever. There's more private land up there than there is state
State
land.
land, yeah.
But it all looks like trees to anybody that's wandering around.
Yeah.
And they don't recognize a zigzaggy line going through the woods.
So you think that would be a big topic for the zoning committee? To really have a bird's eye view and a granular view of various parcels in Dryden and what's buildable, what's not, what's farmable, what's not suitable for farming, what's
They may
restricted.
already have
You
something.
probably do.
I think there's, since we worked on it like 3 or 4 years ago, and I think there's some stuff that kind of came to us that we interpreted some of it and we thought it was relevant somewhat. About the end of Debbie's time here, I was thinking that she,
I think that was more than 3 or 4.
Oh. I'm marking that.
Yeah.
Seems to be a lot of institutional memory on this committee.
Yeah, but what happened this morning? I don't know.
What you have for breakfast?
I haven't yet.
Let's see.
Here's one for you. I've been working for last month with Crystal Buck at the county level.
Mhm.
We're putting our farm into the preemptive protection.
Yeah,
Oh, are you?
Bex, hardly any of ours is available for lot development.
Right.
And we might as well lock it in for Bex and Sherman's. They each have about 250 acres. So
Mhm.
we've been working through it. Maps should be coming up here this week and gotta get some more narratives and working at it.
Is that kind of, they pay you the difference between development rights and ag, what the,
Yeah, and we haven't even heard prices at all.
yeah.
Nobody can say, well, like last time it was or whatever, and
In the beginning, it was great, but then the ag values had
Went up so
went up
much.
so much that the difference, I briefly looked at it one.
Yeah,
It's
um,
too small a chunk anyway, no.
we asked, Crystal, do you have a ballpark ideas to where, the prices might, what the difference is? And her, I don't remember what the number she gave us, but my son Gabe said, well, if that was the price for ag land, every Amish farmer would be here because it would be the cheapest land that they could get a hold of. I mean, they are buying some pretty poor West Dryden type of land and bringing it back into production.
Mhm.
All that they've been doing up around Freetown and whatnot.
Lacey's got neighbors all sides of the other office.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you're saying that extensions value they were putting out was
That
really low?
they were guessing and
They were guessing really low.
yeah, what they told Gabe.
But the split has taken off so much again because the lots or for residential have just taken off again.
Yep.
Farmland's coming along, but I don't think it's coming along as fast. We'll see. We'll be getting some numbers probably another week or two. See whether it's worthwhile to proceed through it.
Yeah. So you got your preliminary application in?
Yeah, we're waiting on a couple of narratives. We're working the maps.
Yeah. The maps you gotta get from the county.
Drawing your exemption areas and
Mhm.
all that.
And they do like to have it as blocked together as possible. And with so much of, well, all of Sherman's is pretty much, isn't it?
Wow.
Into the PDR, most all of Sherman's, because they put into it and then they bought
So
Studdles, which all was in it.
I don't think Marcus's is.
No, that parcel might not be,
Browns is done.
no. But the original Sherman farm and then Studdles, and I think
I think Romeo's too. Didn't they
Studdles, I
put
think
Romeo's?
Romeo's got put into Studdles as well. So, there's a
There's a big block there.
there's a big block there, which, they want to see. Not little bits and pieces scattered all over the place. They want to see it being a large block of ag viable land.
Thing I worry about was the girls, if they ever wanted to come back and build a house at the farm place someplace, and we did talk, you can
Mhm.
exempt. a
Yep.
lot.
Yeah.
Little
Lots
spots,
of,
yeah.
yep. Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a challenge to think how many generations down the road you're planning for.
Always a change.
Mhm.
So there was far more value in it if you went with the preemptive, because you straight up purchase rights too. They approved that so much quicker type thing, or we looked at it more feasible. It opened up like March or February 10th, 15th. And everything has to be in by March 31st done. maps, narratives.
Everything, huh?
Mhm.
So you're gonna put like Tucker's in too?
Okay. Anything else to discuss tonight? I will try to sit in on April 3rd. Oh, if you're,
Doug was gonna fill in and then.
he was gonna fill in for me while he got, thrown into the fire real quick.
That's all right, okay.
Thanks for doing that, both of you guys.
Well, I was hoping that you would be sitting in and then when I could be out playing in the field, you would be filling in.
Oh,
I wasn't planning on being elbow deep in the cow,
well,
armpit deep in the cow.
Get them over.
I should have wanted to come out and help
Something to
you.
stay together for you.
There wouldn't be much use.
It used to be easier 20 years ago. Used to be a lot easier 40 years ago. Doing that sort of thing. But. I would entertain any motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second, all in favor, say thank you and
Thank you.
good night. Click.
You just had a birthday, right?
Yeah, I had one of those.
How old are
Theoretically,
you?
theoretically.
You were